So a friend of mine joined Discord the other day, and we got to talking about playing certain games, and he started talking about wanting to play the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. Well, my response was, cool. So let's figure out what deck you can actually play then, shall we? So while I'm not an expert on this topic, I do like to think that I can point people in the right direction if they bother to actually ask me. So, that being said, there's not going to be any background gameplay probably unless I happen to find something uh, suitable. But yeah, so podcast style, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so this video is based off of a conversation that I had with a friend of mine over Discord. Keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind the friend of mine does not have anything whatsoever card game related. Absolutely nothing. So keep that in mind. But anyway, anyone that's starting out brand new to the game, I would ask three questions. One, what is your budget? Two, how toxic do you want to be? Slash, how many friends do you not want to have? Three, how many brain cells do you have left, and how many of those are you actually willing to lose? Budget is obvious, but I'm going to touch on the toxic one real quick. If you want to be a toxic jackass, then you're not going to have friends. And you're not going to be invited to someone's birthday party or to go hang out at the bar if you're old enough to drink. Or, invited to someone's wedding or something like that because you play toxic decks and you're a jackass. You could be the best person in the world, but you still play toxic decks, so you're still a jackass. Alright, so don't do it. Just don't do it. Steer clear. Anyway, getting back on topic, let's start with the actual questions, shall we? So, budget. Simple enough. How much can you spend on this game? Um, well, you know the answer to that. I'm gonna recommend $200. 200 bucks. Why 200 bucks? Well, I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I told him. You can watch YouTube videos and watch budget tier lists and all this stuff that'll say, oh, you can get this deck for about $100, or you can get that deck for roughly $80 and change, and you can get this deck because it's really cheap now. It's now because it needs cards like Triple Tactics Talent that are now like $1. It's really cheap and it fits in the budget tier list and it's like $50. Okay, sure, that's true. Um, what about the rest of the stuff? The card case or deck box, whatever you want to call it. The binder for the trades, the card protectors for the cards themselves. Um, you know, what about the rest of that stuff, right? They don't include that. If you included all of that, $200 is what you're going to end up spending, roughly. So, that's why I say $200. Now, what can you get for $200? Well, first things first, you need a few items. Okay? Some are optional, some are not. The non optional items is a deck box and card sleeves. You need them to protect your cards. Do not play them as they are. Put them in card sleeves and protect them. This is not only a hobby, it is an investment. So keep that in mind as well. So, you also need a deck box to again protect your cards. So, you know, everything is about protecting your cards because your cards are a investment. It's just like if someone goes and buys um a painting or something, or gold, for example. They're investing hoping that that item will go up in value, which is basically what you're doing to a certain degree. So, that being said, you need a deck box and you need card protectors or sleeves. This is before you even pick out the deck, by the way, in my opinion. Recommended items, but not necessary: binder, playmat, mat tube, and a backpack, along with some bulk storage. Luckily, Konami has most of that covered. They have Konami branded binders, they have Konami branded deck boxes, playmats, and card sleeves. However, do not get the Konami card sleeves to use for your deck. Just avoid them. Okay? Pretend they're the plague and avoid them. Like the plague. They suck. Well, the argument can be made, yes, they look cool, yes, they are functional, they do what they're supposed to do to a certain extent. 1 week after you start shuffling them, they will break. Well, not really break, because it's kind of hard to break a card protector, but they will start to lose the foil on the back of it. Because what happens in this game, you're shuffling a lot, alright? You're going through your deck a lot, and you're going to shuffle cards. You know, you play cards that add other cards. You play cards that do effect that sends cards from deck to graveyard. And so on and so on. You're going to be touching the cards a lot. And shuffling them, if you shuffle them just perfect, and you're very, very gentle, then you might be able to prolong their existence. But that's not very likely. And what I mean by that is within a couple weeks of just playing, just generally playing the game, the sleeves will start to rip the foiling off the back of it, and you'll have to re-sleeve. Due to rules, you will have to re-sleeve. So avoid them like the plague. The ones that I recommend are Dragon Shields. They're not the cheapest in the world, but they're probably the best ones on the market. In my personal opinion, anyway. Which may or may not matter to you, but to each their own. So, card sleeves, deck box, binder is optional. Playmat is also optional. You know, mat tube to go with your playmat. If you're going to buy a playmat, you might as well just spend the extra and get the mat tube as well. So, if you look at the prices on the Konami website, YU-GI-OH card.com or whatever, if I can remember, I will leave a link to it in the description. You'll see like Gold Pride card protectors, binders, deck box, you know, the whole 9 yards, playmat, everything. Or Yugi Kaiba, or Dark Magician Girl, or Karibo, or whatever. They have several of them, so just, you know, pick the one that you like and go from there. The older ones are more expensive because they're not printed anymore, so getting your hands on those might be a little difficult. Or pricey, rather. But But yeah, the binder at a retail shop is going to run you about $10. The deck box at a retail shop, at a game shop where you're going to go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to cost you about $5. The playmat is going to cost you about 15. The mat tube is going to cost you about 5 to 10, depending on which one you get, of course. Now these prices are not guaranteed, like where you live. This is just going off where I live. So, yeah. You throw in a backpack like from Walmart or Target or something, just a general school backpack that you would carry to high school or something. Nothing fancy, like it doesn't have to be a fancy backpack. It just needs to be something that can hold your stuff. That is all you need. Um, Add that in, and you're looking at probably about $70 or $80 for everything. This is before you even get the cards, by the way. So, just want you to keep that in mind. Everything that you need to get before you get your cards, so that you have stuff to protect your cards when you get ready to go. So, you now have a backpack. You have the binder for your extra. You have bulk, which I didn't. You have something to carry your bulk in. I mean, which I didn't even cover because it's like $1. I mean, you may not be able to get the same kind of things that I do, but you can get stuff, cardboard boxes or whatever, shoe boxes, I guess, would work. Um, but you need something that will hold cards. Where I go, they have cardboard boxes. They range from about $1 to about $5. They hold anywhere from 300 to 5,000 cards, I think it is, or 1,000 cards. I think it's 5,000. I could be wrong on that, but anyway, um, they hold a lot of cards, right? So, what I would recommend is getting something that holds a lot of cards. Keep it at home, like under your bed or whatever. And when you open new packs, take all the common stuff and put it in there and organize it. And then you have your bulk trade items and your shiny trade items, which we'll get to in a minute. Um, so getting back to why I recommended $200. You're spending $80 on accessories before you even get to the cards. Not only are you spending $80 on accessories before you get the cards, you're also increasing the amount of money that you can actually spend on the cards. So, I'll give you an example of a deck that you can buy for relatively cheap that is actually pretty good. So, Trap Trick Structure Deck is actually pretty damn good. Like, is it going to win, World Championship? No, not at all. Is it good enough that you can take it to your locals and actually win with it? Yeah, it'll do a fine job. Um, it's $30 for three of them. Look up a guide on. Oh, look at that. Damn it. Cool. Look up a build guide on online on YouTube. Throw it together. Have some fun. Another deck that you can get for relatively cheap is actually pretty good. The Crimson King. So this is a Red Dragon Archfiend deck. It is a pretty much what you would consider a go all out and nuke your opponent and just like keep beating them down type deck. It's the same price. 30 to $40 for 3 structure decks, and then just throw them together and go play and have fun and win. You can do damn good with it. The deck that I'm actually looking forward to that just come out, at the time of recording, it come out yesterday. The Fire King structure deck. There's a lot of good reprints coming out in this. A lot of them. And there's cards that are being reprinted in this deck that are also being printed new that makes the Fire King structure deck actually good. Like, it's actually good. So, you know, there is that. Now, you will notice that I have an entire engine down here. The Tri-Brigade engine. Yeah. I have the entire engine because I honestly... Well, I think Tri-Brigade Fire King will actually be really, really good. So, I think it'll be really damn good. But again, it's a $30 structure deck. Ignore this. Ignore this because it's not that much. People are putting value on it already, and it will be valuable because of certain cards like Droll and Lockbird, Judgment, Torrential, Imperm, all those cards. But honestly, yeah, it's still a good structure deck and it's still cheap. You can get it for 35, 40 bucks, throw 3 of them together, and you're going to be off to the races with it. So once you picked out what deck you actually want to play, every deck that I've recommended so far has been 3 structure decks, right? There are other options. And I haven't mentioned the Albaz Strike structure deck, or the Dark World structure deck, or the Crystal Beast structure deck. Albaz Strikes is a little over a year. I think it's going on 2 years at this point. Unfortunately, branded, it's a good deck. Don't get me wrong, it is a good deck. However, it has basically reached a point where it's becoming more of just an engine that you splash in some other deck to go with it, rather than its own thing. Like branded Chimera. Branded Despia. Okay? That's kind of been the thing, right? Branded Despia has been the go-to deck for a while. There's branded Sword Soul. I don't think that deck really works all that well to me. But yeah, there's multiple different decks that use the branded engine. And it's a good deck, don't get me wrong. It is good, but it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be really all that great as a choice. It is a good deck. If you build it properly, you can build it for around $150 for full power branded Despia. So, if you wanted to increase your budget, or, let's look at mine, for example, branded Bestial. It is expensive because I have some really expensive cards in there. So, it is a really expensive deck. The cards that you don't need are like, Dissipator, Chaos Angel. You don't have to have Dragoon. but it is one of the recommended recommendations that I would give. Same for um, Guardian Chimera. You don't have to have these, but I would recommend them. So it's just one of those things, like getting the cards that you actually need for this deck will require quite a bit of money. I mean, you're if you don't have Dragoon and the other cards, like it's only $115, $120 at most, which you actually do have the budget for. Keep in mind, so you can do that. But it's just this deck is good, but it's not top tier anymore. This variant of it isn't top tier anyway. It's one that I played and it kind of sucked. I'm modifying it and playing it a different way. But anyway, so you don't have to have the expensive cards. You do need them at some point. You don't have to have them starting out. Um, 3 structure decks that if you get any of the 3 structure decks that have dropped in the last 2 years from Cyber Strike all the way up to the Fire Kings, and you get 3 of them, you will probably be able to play a deck that is actually good and actually fun. Now, I mentioned Cyber Strike because it is an old school style deck. However, don't play Cyber Dragons. They suck. You will get laughed at, you will get walked on. You can build a deck that is a decent Cyber Dragon deck, but it stops becoming a Cyber Dragon deck. It starts becoming more of an other deck. So that is the thing. Keep it. Just yeah. Um. So if you spend, let's just say you go with the Resonators, right? You build this deck and it costs you $30 for the 3 structure decks. You spent 80 on the accessories. You're off to a good start. So the next step is buying stuff to upgrade the deck. Now, a YouTuber that I watch, called Rev's Cards, he actually has a couple series, which are actually really good series, called Yu-Gi-Oh from Scratch, and it's actually entertaining to watch because he starts off with 3 structure decks, buys the stuff to upgrade them. Actually, now that's a different series. He's got Playing Yu-Gi-Oh properly is the one that I just mentioned. Playing from Scratch is where he literally just pulls cards. Like you just buy $100 worth of packs and you pull your deck. So, yeah. Anyway, so I am yakking at this point. I am just, yeah, I haven't. I've been talking for quite a while at this point. I think I'm going to end the video here. There's more that I could get into, but I think it will be better if I end the video here and maybe put another video together. But as far as like everything that I've covered so far, the deck that I recommend that you get if you're wanting to play and have fun, it is 3 structure decks. I would recommend something like the Resonators. Trap Tricks is fun. Trap Tricks is good. It's a decent deck, but I would recommend the Resonators because it's more well, it would be a deck that I would want to play if I was starting out from scratch. I would want to play that because it's more my style, but I recommend it because it is a damn good deck. And you can do minor upgrades to it. And with a few little upgrades, alright? Just a handful of upgrades. This is the beast that you could possibly get. Now, there are things in here that I'm going to change around because they're in the wrong spot. Or I don't need them in the main deck, and they should just be in the side deck. There's a lot of stuff that I'm thinking about changing with this deck at the moment, but we'll have to see. But yeah, with a few upgrades from the tins, from the rarity collection, um, minus, Thrust and Dissipator and Chaos Angel, minus these two, and this one, you can get a deck for you can get this deck pretty powerful pretty quickly. So yeah. Anyway, like I said before, I've yammered on for long enough. So yeah, I'm cutting the video here. If you made it to this point, hit the like, comment, and subscribe button if you would. Help me try and get to 100 subscribers. The end of the year goal was 100 subscribers. That's probably not going to happen unless you have some friends. In which case, by all means, entice them to subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell thingy so you never miss an upload when I actually do upload. I'm trying to get on a schedule. And yeah, so I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.